How are you?
Great, man. This is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, I know. Want to get started?
Sure.
So, what have you been up to lately?
A lot of things. Specifically this week, I released my very first album called Square One. How's that feel? Oh my goodness. Surreal, amazing, joyful, vulnerable, and honest.
Sure. But, how are you?
I'm good, man. It feels good to finally be creating. I've always been a creative person, but it wasn't until lately that I finally started pursuing all these rattling what ifs, the things in the back of my mind, the things that I was scared of for my whole life. So, what changed? What made you jump from a stable career into the chaos of artistry? That's a good question. A lot of things changed. First off, I read this book called The Alchemist. Highly recommend it. It really dug deep for me, and what I learned from that book is that I don't have to keep waiting around and being in the backseat driver of my own life. I can start to, take charge, start to live life the way I want to, and that was a huge difference for me. So, love that book so much. The second thing is my mom. She started getting on me and saying, "What happened to that Matthew who was smiling all the time, who was singing in the choirs or just singing around in the kitchen? Where did he go?" And that got deep. I started to wonder where he went to. And so I started digging and looking for that Matthew. And what I found is I just need more music in my life. And that's what I, started to create here. The third thing is my Aunt Dot, shout out Dot Reiser, she gave me one of her guitars. And she's an incredible singer-songwriter. And that little gift, that planted a seed in me for me to want to start to give back, to be more creative, and to start singing and playing more guitar on my own. So what I did is I started practicing every single day. Roughly a year later, here we are with a full album, and it's just surreal to be able to say that now.
You don't need prompting. Just keep speaking from the heart.
Sure. Dude, I'm gonna be honest. It really is coming from a long depression to get to a place like this. Like junior year of college to now, it was spanning for like 4 years where I did it to myself. I dug myself into a little pit, and I started to isolate a bit more. And one of the things that started to climb me out of that pit was this song by Daniel Caesar. It's called Pain is Inevitable. And the next lyric in that song is misery is a choice. And I looked around me and I started to realize like it really is a choice. I don't have to be miserable. I let myself for 4 years and a lot of my life at moments be miserable. But that song really helped me. And so I started to look around life and realize that, I get to choose how I live my life moving forward. And that was a huge theme for me in my album. It was a lot of lyrics about choosing myself for once. I don't have to wait for this lover, this friend, or a family member to pull me out of this pit. I actually have to choose myself. And I wrote a lot about that over and over. And I think it's a message that needs to get out there that people need to hear today. And another main thing that I learned from that depression was that, like, holy cow, I'm 26. I'm young. I got so much of my life ahead of me. And by no means is my life over. I mean, I have so much left to do. And now that I'm being creative and starting to flex that muscle more and more, I start to wonder, like, is the sky really the limit? Like, where can I take all of this? It's awesome.
That's beautiful. Thanks for sharing that straight from the heart.
Yeah, thanks for caring so much. What about you, man? I feel like no one ever asks you questions. How's this YouTube channel been going on for you?
That's kind of you.
It's been a grind, but it's fulfilling. A few people have reached out saying how much this show has inspired them. And that's the whole reason I started. I made this channel because it's what I needed when I was 5, 15, and 25. I've always wanted to discover all kinds of people in different types of professions. I'm obsessed with understanding what drives people and what makes them tick. That's awesome. I mean, what a cool mission for you to take out. I'm happy it's working so well for you. Me too. Where did you get the name of this channel from? I've always been wondering that.
Love that question.
Well, my whole life, people always talked about getting jobs in the real world, and creativity was treated like a cute afterthought. Even after graduating, I moved from state to state trying to blend creativity into my old identity. But I kept hearing that voice nagging in the back of my head, join the real world. And all I ever wanted to do was the opposite. My mission with this channel is to shatter that concept. I want to interview lawyers who paint in their free time and painters who are secretly fascinated by law. I believe we all have creative instincts, that we were created by God to be creative. This show is about giving people permission to explore that, to remember. My hope is to spotlight the creative spark in everyone I meet. and maybe even turn this into its own news network someday. One built on love, beauty, and altruism. What a fascinating story. Yeah, man, I care a lot about this vision, about giving artists a place to be heard.
All right, I feel like we're at a pretty natural wrapping point. I'll close this out the same way I close out every interview. How do you want to inspire creatives?
Okay. To anyone with that nagging what if in the back of their mind, something that they've been wondering if they can accomplish or not their whole life, take a little step toward that dream today. It doesn't matter if it's the littlest bit, finally voicing your opinion in public or just whatever it can be for you. Just take one step toward that dream today. I finally had the courage to post a TikTok about a year ago. I've never really been big on social media until recently. And someone who I thought was a friend took that video and warped it and did a version of bullying that I was so surprised to see. But, at that point, I was already too far forward. I couldn't go back. I couldn't just throw everything away and let that stomp me to the ground. So I built my way back up and I started to let confidence take the place there. It was a really hard thing for me to go through, but I share that message so that people can know that if they're getting bullied or they're experiencing things like that, from sharing what they think is their light to the world, keep going at all costs. If you're getting hate messages or harassment from people, good. That means you're on the right path. That means you're finally tapping that nerve or something that's important in life. So you should keep going at all costs. Use your voice. You've only been given one for a reason, and I believe that every single person has their own unique voice. I started to share mine through the aspect of music, and it was hard for me to hear my voice at first, but now I get used to it. Use yours. Everyone has their own unique voice, and that's why they've been given one voice. It's to be unique. So take one step toward that. Use your voice more, and then lastly, the purpose for all of us is the same. It's to be creative. You start small. You start taking those little baby steps, but the muscle grows, and you learn how to be more creative in your own way over time. And then you can become unstoppable. And I think that's the most beautiful way you can live your life, to bring that to fulfillment and to be creative.